most women arrive at midlife having spent decades doing everything for everyone else. Now, very little of it was wrong, but whilst in the thick of life, the habits, the plans, the self-knowledge that should have been building nicely in the background didn't. And now the body is sending signals. Our mind is asking simple questions that some of us find difficult to answer. And the future doesn't seem that far ahead anymore. That's your wake-up call. And this session is what to do about it. We're covering shifts across 4 areas: your mind, your body, your future, and yourself. So let's start with your body. First, you need to walk daily because walking reduces stress hormones like cortisol. It helps to regulate your mood and anxiety. It improves your circulation, especially your heart health and your brain function, and it preserves your muscles. We need to keep things moving, as sitting too much increases our chances of inflammation and other health risks. So what I want you to do is to try to walk for 20 to 30 minutes most days, and where possible, walk outdoors because daylight helps our mood and sleep rhythms. If you feel overwhelmed by 20 to 30 minutes, start with just 10 minutes and also try to walk after meals, as this helps your blood sugar and energy levels. So make walking your daily baseline, but remember that walking alone won't protect your muscles. And that's where shift number 2 comes in. The second thing that I want you to do is lift weights or strength train 2 or 3 times per week. It matters more than most people realize. Start with simple body weights, resistance bands, and light dumbbells, and do this 2 to 3 times a week because this is enough to make a difference. Walking alone isn't enough for muscle preservation. So now you've got the movement covered, let's talk about the one thing that undermines everything else when it's broken, and that's your sleep. It's really important to try to improve your sleep habits before trying to improve your productivity levels, because poor sleep increases stress hormones, your abilities to make decisions, and exhaustion levels. So before you try to optimize schedules, fix your sleep first. Start by reducing screens late at night, getting daylight early in the morning, reducing caffeine later in the day, and keep sleep and wake times consistent and create a calm bedroom environment. So those are your 3 body shifts. So let's move to your mind, and this section matters more than we think. The simple actions mentioned in this section aren't just about feeling better now. There's so much research linking them directly to reducing your risk of dementia later in life. Now, the one shift that really surprised me was the importance of building strong social connections, because isolation increases stress and low moods, and strong relationships improve resilience and longevity. Did you know that strong, frequent social connections, such as joining social clubs or church communities, also contribute towards preventing dementia? This is really important because as midlife women, we often become isolated through exhaustion because we're so busy focusing on our responsibilities. So prioritize quality relationships over quantity, reconnect with healthy friendships, and try to join groups or activities aligned with your interests. And also try to spend some free time with people who energize you rather than those who drain you, because connection protects you. Shift number 5 is a non-negotiable, and that is to try to reduce chronic stress levels. This is because chronic stress keeps the body in survival mode, which can affect your immune system, inflammation, sleep, your weight, your hormones, your memory, and your blood pressure levels. So try to build recovery into your daily life. Rest, movement, quiet time, prayer or meditation. And learn to say no without any guilt. Your mind is more resilient than you think, but only if you're actively investing in it. So now let's talk about your future, because this is where most midlife women are under planning. You need to keep learning and retraining, because your brain did not stop growing when you left school. And every time we learn something new, a skill, a hobby, a language, anything, our brain builds new connections. This can happen at any age. People who keep learning as they get older stay sharper for longer, are less likely to develop dementia, and learning is not just good for your career, it's good for your brain. So experiment with the new environments and experiences, and remember, it's never too late. Now, shift number 7 is about deciding where you're actually going. You do this by planning intentionally. During early parenthood and up to midlife, many women drift in survival mode and stop planning for the long term. More often than not, midlife triggers us to question our career choices. We experience emotional exhaustion, we have a desire for freedom and the opportunity to reassess our purpose. It also reduces our tolerance for misalignment, which is why we often find people at midlife literally walking away from their jobs. Do you remember Michael Douglas in Falling Down? Many of us have gone through that. So you need to plan intentionally and try to avoid this situation with intentional planning. Without intentional planning, years can pass very quickly and suddenly you feel like this volcanic eruption is just a matter of time. So I need you to stop only thinking about this month. Think about the next 3 to 5 years and ask yourself, what kind of life do I actually want? What's unsustainable now? What needs to change? Have an audit of your life and look at your energy drains, your finances, your health, your wellness, your work, and your relationships. Try to build gradual change instead of dramatic escape plans. If your finances aren't ideal, think about starting an additional income stream and start to make decisions around peace, sustainability, and alignment, not only obligation. None of this planning works if you don't understand money. So now, shift number 8 is the one most people have inevitably avoided, which is to become financially literate, because financial stress creates chronic anxiety and insecurity and directly impacts your health. Many women, in fact men too, are taught how to work but not how money works. A lack of financial knowledge often creates dependence and fear. So what you need to do, if you haven't already, is learn about budgeting, savings, pensions, investments, and how debts work. Understand where your money's going monthly and build emergency savings gradually. Focus on your long-term stability, not just quick fixes. So your 3 future shifts have been covered. Now for the financial section, and for many women, this is the hardest one because it's yourself, you. It's so important that you know yourself before building your next chapter. Many women lose themselves inside of their responsibilities due to years of adapting, which can cause disconnection from their identity, desires, interests, and values. People often build lives that are based on expectations rather than alignment with their values. So there are 3 things that I want you to do. First, ask yourself, what matters to me now? What do I genuinely enjoy? What no longer fits me or my life? And then secondly, I want you to identify patterns by understanding your limiting beliefs. Most of us have beliefs that we've picked up decades ago that are still making decisions for us now. Beliefs about what we're capable of, what we deserve, what's possible at this stage of our life, your emotional triggers, the moments, words, or the situations that consistently knock you off balance or push you into reactions that you may later regret. Also, I want you to look at repeated patterns, the same situation showing up in different forms. What are yours? Where does approval drive your decisions, or how much of what you do is based on what other people think rather than what you actually truly want? And thirdly, I want you to separate your identity from your roles as a mother, an employee, caregiver, partner, and define success personally instead of socially. Now, the last shift, shift number 10, feel the fear and do it anyway. Fear creates procrastination, perfectionism, overthinking, and paralysis. Confidence usually comes after action, not before. I know I've been there. I want you to stop waiting to feel fully ready. The right time to start is now. Focus on one small action at a time. Build evidence through repetition. Accept discomfort as part of the growth process and reduce your need for perfectionism. Done is better than perfect. Use accountability where possible and ask someone to check in on you. Review your progress weekly. So, which one of these 10 shifts is the one that you know that you've been avoiding? Tell me in the comments. And if this resonated, share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. These 10 shifts are not about doing more, they're about doing differently. Small, consistent, intentional actions. I'll see you in the next session. And remember, I'm not a doctor or a financial advisor. always speak to an expert.